Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time you're watching this webinar. You're welcome. I want to specially welcome you to this free training on snail farming. Thank you so much for making our time to be here. And I promise you, this is going to be one of the best 60 minutes you've spent online this year. Let me quickly introduce myself for those who did not listen to the audios that I've sent, or maybe you didn't see the write-ups that I dropped on the group. My name is Marymagdalene Finama. I'm from Bayelsa State. Here's a quick breakdown about me. I'm the founder of Mectes Enterprise. I'm a wife and I'm a mother of two lovely daughters. I own a Facebook page and a YouTube channel which are named Mectes Snail Farm, because they are dedicated solely for my snail farm produce. Right, I deal majorly on sales of snails, both in bags and pieces. I sell formulated feeds, my own formulated feeds. I sell calcium. I'm also into setting up of a free range system which we call the greenhouse system for both my students and all others that contact me for the job. Right, and I do it all across Nigeria. Now, I have trained well over 380 persons in snail farming just in 2023 alone. I am so passionate about this topic because I have personally been involved in this for years. Right, you're going to hear a little more about me. Please endeavor to listen to the voice notes that I dropped on the WhatsApp group as well. It will help you get to know more about me and my journey so far. All right, let's just move forward. Now, in this webinar, this free training that is just well over 40 minutes, now you're going to learn some few things about snail farming, like the wealth that can be unearthed from snail farming, the A to Z of snail farming. Okay, when I say the A to Z of snail farming, I mean what is snail farming, what are the species of snails that you can farm, how can you make money from snail farming, how can you extract snail slime. Now, what is the value of snails both in the local market and in international market? All those are things that you'll be learning from this free training. So I need you to sit back, relax. I told you from the beginning that you should come with your pen and paper so that you can jot down whatever questions that might arise as we go on the course of this training. Now, remember, it being a free training means there are a lot. There's only to an extent that you can learn in a free training. You all know that getting holistic training will take time. Okay, you cannot learn snail farming in just 60 minutes. Okay, so but I would deliver the best I can. I will give you a lot of value to the best of my ability in this free training. So please be more attentive, be focused, and pay more attention. Okay, so what else are you going to be learning before the end of this free training? Now, you're going to learn about the requirements that you need as a snail farmer. Okay, for you to go into snail farming, what are those requirements? Now, setting up a snail farm on a budget. You'll learn about how you can set up a snail farm on a budget, and also other ways that you can make money from snail business. Okay, it's not just by farming snails. There are other ways that you can make money from snail business. Now, why should you listen to me? You should listen to me not just because I am training people, but because I have a personal experience on snail farming. I've actively been into it for about 5 years now. Okay, I went into it while I was still doing another job, but then I saw that this is a business that can fetch me all the income that I need. So what's the point of just juggling between the two? That does not mean that you cannot juggle between the two, because snail farming gives you a lot of time. Like, you attend to snails just once in a day, and that's in the evening, so you can do whatever you want to do. I only decided I want to do it full time because I love the business. All right, now, as of this moment, I currently sell between 3,500 to 4,500 pieces of snails per month. I also help my mentees to sell off their mature snails, both in the local market and the international market. Okay, now, selling abroad during export programs, that enables them to start earning in dollars as well. Now, that's one of the good things about enrolling in my own platform, because I don't just train you and leave you to go. I train you and I make sure you succeed in the business, and not just that, you also have where to sell your snails. All right, now There are some things that make people don't want to go into snail farming, or some things that makes people not succeed in snail farming. I have seen people who go to YouTube, watch a bunch of videos and decide to start their snail farm. They still come back to people who are fully into it to ask questions. Why? Now, it is not as if it is a bad thing for you to watch videos on YouTube. It is not at all. But you know what that does to you? It makes you confused at the end of the day. Because when you watch random videos from different people, you end up having different ideas, different opinions about a particular subject. So you are torn in between different options. You don't even know what exactly to do. One person will tell you this is how you do it. A will tell you this one, B will tell you that one, C will tell you another one, D will tell you another one. So when you watch too many videos about a particular subject and you don't have one person like a mentor that would hold you and pull you through, you tend to get confused at the end of the day. So you do so many things and end up losing either your snails, or just end up wasting your time and energy. So one of the reasons why people find it difficult to get into snail farming or to succeed in snail farming is lack of adequate training and knowledge of the farming business. Now, lacking knowledge does not necessarily mean that you have not seen some videos or you've not heard some things about snail farming. When we say knowledge, we're talking about holistic knowledge. Like you have not been trained, you have not been tutored, okay? You have not been mentored. That's what I mean. Like when you're mentored by someone who has passion for not just the business itself, but for seeing people grow, you will never fail with that, right? Unlike when you just go through different piecemeals from one area or the other, you might not get the holistic view of the subject matter. So that's one of the reasons why people fail or people find it difficult to start snail farming. Now, there's another thing, difficulty in getting buyers. Like I said before, that is one of my that is one of the points that makes me stand out. Because let's say you start your snail farming now, you have successfully started, your snails have started breeding more snails. Now you have hundreds of snails or thousands of snails. Now the next problem is, where do I sell the snails? How do I sell the snails off? Most trainers don't they all they do is train you, all right? And which is not bad, because that is what you came to them for, to be trained. But getting where to sell your snails is another major aspect of snail farming that so many persons are not talking about. If you go on YouTube right now, you will see a whole lot of videos talking about how to feed snails, how to take care of snails, how to do this. But where to sell snails, people are not talking about it that much. All right, people are not talking about it that much. So it makes people find it difficult to get into snail farming, because even after breeding their snails, they don't know where to sell it. Now, these are some of the reasons why you need to listen to me, because I do training and I also help you sell your snails. All right, now another thing is lack of finance to start up a snail farm. Yes, now like any average business you can go into in Nigeria, it requires some few thousands of naira. All right, it requires it. Some Let's talk about starting up a little business by your house. Maybe even if you're not going out to get a shop, you would put up a little structure by your house, and then you buy maybe a fridge, a generator, because of the epileptic power supply we have in Nigeria. All of that costs a lot of money. But in snail farming, with the minimum even 30K, you can start your snail farm. That if you're diligent, just give yourself 2 to 3 years, you will start making millions from that money. It might sound far-fetched, right? It might sound like it is too good to be true. But in snail farming, all you need is diligence. All you need is patience. But with that small amount that you're starting with, you'll be surprised the millions that you start making in a few years. I'm not saying few months. I'm not saying 2 months or 3 months. I'm saying in a few years, okay? Because I'm not here to give you sweet talks. No, I'm here to tell you the real deal. All right? Now, lack of finance is one of the reasons why people find it difficult to go into snail farming. What are the other things that can make people find it difficult to get into snail farming? Is lack of patience. I just talked about it now. Lack of patience. If you don't have patience, you cannot go into snail farming. You cannot go into snail farming if you don't have patience. You need to be patient. Why? Why do I talk about patience? Patience because snails are very slow growing animals. You cannot go into snail farming last month and start making money from snail farming this month or even next month or even in the next 3 months. It's not possible because snails take a pace to grow. All right. So if you're the type that wants overnight returns on your investment, this is not the kind of training for you. This is not the kind of business that you need to get into. So long as snail farming is concerned, for you to grow your snails to maturity, it requires time. Okay, meaning you need to be patient with the snails for it to get to that time. Now, talking about maturity, in every organism we have what we call the physiological maturity and the sexual maturity. Now, a sexually mature organism means that that organism is capable of reproducing its kind, but that organism might not necessarily be physically big. Okay, now in snails, their sexual maturity age starts from the age of 6 months to 9 months, meaning a snail that is 6 months can actually start producing for you, but that snail is not big. Okay, it's not physically big. Now, a physiologically mature snail starts from 12 months down to 18 months and above. Okay, so it means that a 6-month-old snail or a 9-month-old snail can start laying eggs for you, but that snail might not necessarily be looking big. Okay, we call those ones point of lay. Those snails that have attained sexual maturity, we call them point of lay or breeders, meaning they can start laying eggs for you, but they are not physically big. Okay, so that's that about the physiological and sexual maturity of snails. Now, let's talk about what is snail farming. Remember, this is a free training, this is a free class, so please make sure you grab every information that you can gather from this. Okay, now what is snail farming? Snail farming is professionally called eliciculture. Okay, it is professionally called eliciculture. Now, forget about the plenty big English that I'm saying. Now, what is this eliciculture? It is just the process of rearing and breeding of snails for commercial purposes. It means it involves the cultivation and management of snails in a controlled environment. When snails are growing in the forest by themselves, fending for themselves, that is not eliciculture. Okay, it is when you bring snails into a controlled environment that you have provided shelter for them by yourself. That is what is eliciculture. That's what's called eliciculture, meaning you are the one responsible for their well-being, their overall well-being, watering them, feeding them. You are the one responsible. Now, the snail management and taking care of snails in a controlled environment, such as snail farms, we call snail houses snail pen. So whenever you hear me call a pen, when it comes to the subject of snail farming, you know that I'm talking about a snail house. Okay, now you go into snail farming with the aim of producing snails for various purposes. Snails are not just used for eating. Okay, they are used, yes, for producing food, but they are also used for cosmetic purposes, and they are used for pharmaceutical purposes as well. Now, you see all those very expensive creams that people use. Sometimes you even see on the labels of the creams snails being drawn on the labels of the creams. Some creams that helps to reduce the appearance of stretch marks, acne. A lot of things are made from snails. Now, a person who gets involved in this process, this eliciculture process, is called a snail farmer. Most of you, including myself, before I got into the business, I used to call snail farmers those who go into the bush and pick snails to come and sell. Those are the ones I used to call snail farmers. But that's not true. A snail farmer is one who is involved in captured snailry. Like, you are into snail farming. You're not just going to the bush to pick it up. You are the one who is training snails in a controlled environment. So, you all that are here listening to this or watching this webinar right now, the moment you start your own snail farm, you are called a snail farmer. All right, let's move on. Now, we have two types of snail farming. One is the intensive system of farming. The other is the semi-intensive system of farming. I'm just going to make it as simple as possible. Intensive system means you can do it indoors. Okay, you can do it in your veranda or your balcony, as you may call it. You can do it at the back of your house, just attached to your wall, right? You can just do some snail pens attached to your wall. You can even do it in a spare room in your house. You can do it inside a tire in your house. Okay, so that is basically the indoor uh, process, or the indoor system of farming, which is called the intensive system. Now, with this project, this process, you can do it with as low as 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. Now, this process involves the use of basins. You can use drums. You can use buckets. You can use tires. Okay. You can also use hutch boxes. We'll talk all about that while we go forward. All right. Now, the semi-intensive system is just the opposite of the intensive system. It is the outdoor system of snail farming. Now, this process is the rearing of snails for commercial purpose on a big scale. Okay, on a big scale. You can, with that one, you can start with even 200k. You can start with 500. You can even start with 10 million. Okay, so that one is on a big scale, and majority of the people who go into semi-intensive snail farming goes for the free range, or the one we call the greenhouse system. Or you can use even some of the intensive system of farming in the semi-intensive, like one of them is the concrete pen. Now, concrete pens, you can just build, instead of building 2-3, which is for the intensive system, you can build hundreds if you're going into the semi-intensive system. Okay, so that's that for the number of snail farming systems that we have. There are just two, the intensive and the semi-intensive. Now, basic requirements for snail farming. I will repeat this again. Proper training of the snail farming process. You need to be properly trained. Snail farming is a business. Okay, you need to see farming as a business. It's not just something you do to feed your stomach. No, it is a business. And you don't, good thing is you don't need machineries, all those mechanized machines for you to go into snail farming. But that does not mean it is not a business. It is a huge business. And you don't just go into a business that you don't know anything about just blindly. No, no, no. It is better you go in with someone who has gone through that process before. What do we call it in Nigeria? Follow who know road. Yes, when you follow such person, it is very difficult for you to miss your way or for you to get it wrong. Because what happens is, when you follow somebody that has already gone through that process, what happens is that you learn not by making your own mistakes. Okay, you learn because that person has already made those mistakes in the past. All right, that's one good thing about getting properly trained, and that's one requirement you need. I see a lot of people coming to my DM asking me, please, I want to buy snails. And the first thing I ask is, have you gotten trained? You want to buy snails to start your own snail farm, right? Have you gotten trained? And some of them will tell me, no, I watch some videos on YouTube. That is not enough. It is not enough, because no YouTube video will give you all the trainings that you need. Now, the reason why I go as far as asking people who buy snails from me those questions is because you're buying snails from me. If anything should go wrong, you would want to contact me. You understand? Maybe your snail starts dying, you would want to contact me. Madam Mary, I bought the so snails from you. Now so number has died. Oh, what is happening? You might think that it is because the snails are sick or something, but not knowing that there is something you're not doing right. So I try to save myself the stress of getting all those calls and messages from you later by properly training you in the first place before you even start. Okay, so proper training is the first thing you need. It's the first thing you need before you even start snail farming. All right, so that you avoid a lot of mistakes that would have occurred if you didn't get trained. Second thing is appropriate housing system for your snails. Now, this is what happens when you get trained properly. Okay, you know how to put up your housing system, which are the pens that we talked about. Another thing is a suitable soil for your snail. Not every soil can be used for snail farming. Some people have asked me, can't I do snail farming without soil? No, sir. No, ma. You cannot go into snail farming without a soil. That's like telling me you want to go into cassava planting without soil. It's not possible. The soil is where your snails can breed their eggs, and for those eggs to hatch and become more snails. Okay, snails can survive without soil, yes, but they cannot reproduce without the soil. That's just the simple truth about it. All right. And not just that, you also need to sterilize such soils. You're not just using the soil. After knowing the basic soil to use, you also sterilize the soil. That's treating of the soil. You also need to know one of the basic requirements you need as a snail farmer. You also need to know the kind of food that they need to eat to both grow and to lay more eggs for you. Snails are vegetarians, okay? So one thing they cannot do without is vegetables and fruits. Now, another basic thing that they need for their shells to grow strong and for them to lay more eggs for you is what we call calcium. Some people call it calcium, some call it calcium. They are all the same. They are all correct, okay? Now, calcium helps your snails to for their shells to grow strong and for their shells to expand. Now, if their shells don't expand, the snail meat inside cannot grow as well. Okay, so calcium helps with that. Now, another basic requirement again is patience. You know, I have been repeating this thing: patience, commitment, determination, and the desire to make it work. You don't just start yesterday and expect to start making money today. It doesn't work that way. Okay, this is a lifetime investment. Snail farming is making hundreds of millionaires in Africa every year, and you can be one of them. All you need is patience. I'm emphasizing on this patience because I discovered that majority of people, especially the young ones in this part of the world, we want fast money. Yes, maybe because of the economy, we want fast money. But yet, please, sometimes I prefer we should look into sustainable wealth than the ones that will come fast and go fast. Now, snail farming is something you can pass down to your children as an inheritance. Believe me, because one snail can live up to 12 years. One snail can live up to 12 years. And as a snail farmer, the only time you buy snails is the first time you're starting. Now, the moment you buy, those snails will keep reproducing for you for years to come. You don't need to buy again. That's one of the good things about snail farming as well. So these are some of the basic requirements you will need as a snail farmer. All right. Now, let's talk a little about the facts of snail farming that you might not know yet. Okay, snail farming is very, now I'm emphasizing on the very because it is very, it's very, very profitable. And that's because there is high demand for it. Okay, when you're doing a business that people are demanding for, or people are asking to buy for, you know that you will definitely make profit in such business. Now, you're not only selling snails in Nigeria, you can export to other countries like France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, and the rest of you. Okay, so snail farming is a very profitable business. Now, another fact you need to know about snail farming is that for you to export your snails out of Nigeria to these countries that I just mentioned, you don't need some of the certificates that people need for them to go into exports. Okay, like the NEPC, okay, or the SUN, or even NAFDAC number. You don't need to register with NAFDAC before you can export out of the country if you're into snail farming. That's one basic fact you need to know. Another fact is that you don't need much capital to start, unlike other business or other livestock that you need hundreds of thousands before you can start. And then not just that, you need to be feeding your livestock morning, afternoon, and evening. No, you feed your snails just once in a day, and that's in the evening, preferably by 6:30 to 7 p.m. You see the reason why somebody can be involved in any other business or any job and still be involved in snail farming perfectly, and nothing will happen to your snails, because you can go to your job, close by 4, come to your house, you even rest very well before you go to your snail farm to feed your snails, and it doesn't take long. Depending on the size of your farm, you can feed them in less than 30 minutes. You're done and you're on your way. You don't need to be there for them to be eating. They actually eat at night. So even when you're dropping their feet by that 6:30, they will not come out by that 6:30. They come out when everywhere is dark to come and eat. Okay, so you don't need much capital to go into snail farming. Another thing is you can do snail farming as a part-time business. That is how I started. Like I told you, I was into another job. That's how I started. And you can decide to continue like that till maybe you retire from whatever you're doing. Or even if you don't retire, you just continue like that. Imagine a business where you just need to attend to that business just once in a day. You feed them by 6:30 in the evening, and probably in the morning you just go and remove whatever leftover that is in the pen. That is it. 30 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day, you are done. And like I said, that depends on the size of your farm. If you have a larger farm, like those who are going into semi-intensive system, they would have to employ the services of what we call a farm attendant or a farm manager if your farm is very big. All right. Okay, moving on. I hope you're all getting value for this free training. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk a little about the species of snails that we have around this vicinity, the ones that we actually farm on, and the number of eggs that they lay. These are things, some of the things that you learn as a beginner. You need to know what type of snail is this, how many eggs that can this snail give to me, and how many eggs that can this other one give to me. These are the kind of things you learn. Now, number one on our list is the Achatina marginata. Now, some people call it Achatina, some call it Achatina. Again, all is correct. Okay, so for us to know more about the names, we farmers, we just call it AM. So the moment you hear any name, anybody calling AM, the AM species, you know they are talking about the Achatina marginata. And this Achatina marginata is the one that is mostly reared here in Nigeria, right? And it lays between 40 to 80 eggs. Achatina marginata even lays more depending on the way you feed it, but this is the minimum it lays in a breeding season. Imagine one snail giving you 80 snails. Now, before we go on, there's one thing you need to know, that snails have a level of mortality. No matter how well you take care of your snails, some of your snails will die. That's something that I have seen so many farmers complain about. My snails are dying, how many have died? You don't expect that no snail will die at all. Now, the benchmark, the mark that farmers have placed is about 20% mortality rate. Okay, now when it exceeds that 20%, if it exceeds that 20%, that's when you should be concerned, because there is no, even people who have been into snail farming for up to 15 years will still experience minimum 20% mortality. So imagine you that did not even get trained at all. Imagine how your snails will be dying. I know most of you who are here, you have dived into it for a while and saw that it didn't work. Your snails were dying. Some of you heard about it, some of you watched videos and just decided to go into it, but snails just kept dying. Now, it's not as if you get trained, they will not die at all, but the rate will be greatly reduced. All right. So 20% mortality rate is standard for anybody, no matter how good you are in snail farming. But even with that 20% mortality, imagine your snail giving you 100 snails, one. So you lose about 20%. That means you still have 80. Do you understand? So that's the good thing about snail farming. So when you talk about rearing snails in Nigeria, your best bet is the Achatina marginata. The others that I will be talking about lay even more than the Achatina marginata. So some persons might be tempted to try others, but the Achatina marginata is the one we sell more. Okay, is the one that sells in Nigeria. And some other snails are even considered as pests in some countries. All right, so you cannot export some other snail, but this, you see this Achatina marginata, you can export it anywhere and you can sell it anywhere in Nigeria. Now the next one on our list, we call it the Helix espessa. You can call it the garden snails. Okay, that one lays between 350 to 400 eggs per breeding season. All right, so now the next one is the Achatina achatina. This one we call it the AA. This one is mostly found in Ghana. This one is the one that most countries see as a pest. Okay, so you cannot export the AA to every country. Some countries accept it, but some don't. Now, this AA can lay from 600 to 800 eggs. It can even lay up to 1,000 eggs. That's how prolific they are in nature. Now, the last on our list here is the Achatina folica. We call it the AF. And AFs lay between 800 to 1,200 eggs per breeding season. But the thing about the AF is that it doesn't grow too big. It doesn't grow too big. And you know, for you to sell your snail at a good amount, they need to be big, right? So people don't really go into the farming of AF as well. But you see, the AA the AM, they grow very big, very, very big. But for some reasons that I am yet to find out, the AAs don't really survive too much in Nigeria. In fact, one of my mentor even tried as far as buying some in Ghana, bringing them to Nigeria, and in less than 2 months, they all died. This is somebody who has been into snail farming for more than 10 years. So he knows what he's doing, but yet they all died. So for now, the basic and the only snail we are training is the AM. All right. So moving on. Like I said, I hope you are getting value. We're almost about rounding up this introductory class, okay? I promised you a free training, and that's what you're getting. Believe me, there are a lot of informations you have gathered from this free training. They are not even out there in YouTube. They're not out there on YouTube. So be thankful that you are here. Be thankful that you're here. All right. Like I said, we're about rounding up this introductory class, and like you know, this is just an introduction. There is more. All right. So let's talk about ways to which you can earn a living or earn money from snail farming. Number one, you can sell your snails at point of lays. We've talked about point of lays, right? They are not big, right? But they can start laying eggs. Now, as a snail farmer, that's the point I sell my snails more, because majority of the people who buy snails from me are people who are about going into snail farming. Okay, so the best option is to start from snails that are ready to start laying eggs in no distant time. All right, so these are the point of lays that we sell. Now you can sell at that point as well. That's one of the ways you can earn your money from snail farming. Another one is selling raw table size snails to market women. Table size is those big ones. Okay, we have table size, we have jumbo size, we have point of lays, we have point of lay is also called the breeders. We have growers, we have hatchlings. Okay, I will drop the list of the different stages of snails and how old they are. I will drop it in the WhatsApp group. All right, so you can sell to market women as table sizes, right? You can also sell at different sizes, even in bags as well. Like some persons who are buying not for snail farming purpose, maybe they are buying it for consumption purpose, you can just mix them and sell as well. Some people buy in bags. Okay, but as for snail farmers, most times we don't even have those plenty bags to sell. You see the reason why it is easy for me to help my mentees to sell up their snails, because the demands, because I am already known in this business. People contact me for purchase of snails, so I just help my mentees to sell off with those avenues. All right, now another way you can make money from snail farming is supplying to factories and food processing companies, both here and outside the country. And those such contracts are in large scale. It's not something that one person is able to cover most times. So you get from other persons as well. Now you also sell snail slime, like the one I told you that is used for cosmetic use, for those creams and all. So you can sell your snail slime as well. Good thing about selling snail slime is that you can extract snail slime from your snails this month. Next month you will still bring those snails out and still extract. So there are ways to extract snail slime without killing your snails. All right, now another way to make money from snail farming is selling of washed and dried snails, both locally and internationally. You wash your snails, you dry them, either air dry, fry dry, or whatever drying, depending on the specifications of your buyer. You dry it that way and you ship either abroad or sell it locally. This is another way of making money from snail farming. Now, another way you make good money from snail farming is that you don't even need to go and look for buyers yourself. There are agents that can help you sort for buyers, and you pay them based on commission. Okay, you're selling this kg of snail, this is what you have. You're selling this metric ton of snail, this is what you have. Like that. Okay, so this is the end of our introductory class. All right, I know I have tried. Okay, I've given you value for this free training, and believe me, even with just this and with the few that I'm going to drop in the WhatsApp group, Believe me, these are things you don't just hear everywhere. All right, now moving on, I will not just leave you and high and dry. Okay, I won't just leave you like that. So I'm introducing a mentorship program, a 10 days mentorship program, where I would hold you by the hand and teach you this very profitable business, so that you don't just learn and go, you learn and start, and in no time you start making money. Okay, now in order to introduce 10 days um this 10 days mentorship program to you, let me first of all tell you how you can start snail farming. How do you start snail farming? Back again to getting properly trained. Okay, you get properly trained. Now the next on the list is you set some money aside to start up your snail farming. Okay, now getting properly trained is the reason why I am setting up the 10 days mentorship program. I'm going to mentor you for 10 whole days, but you see, my mentorship continues for life. After getting trained by me, you get mentorship for life. Okay, for life, meaning you have access to me at any time. Okay, so now next on the list, you build an appropriate housing for your snails. I'm just giving them one after the other. Okay, these are the things you need to put in place before you start snail farming. All right, you install sprinklers for watering of the soil. Now this one is basically for the greenhouse system. Now you get a suitable soil. We talked about the soil. You treat that soil. All right, now you sterilize what we call mulching materials. Now mulching materials are either dry plantain leaf or banana leaves or cocoyam leaves. Okay, those are the mulching materials. And not just getting them, you also sterilize those mulching materials. All right, now for greenhouse system, you cultivate vegetation like all these food crops, dwarf plantains, cocoyams, so that the greenhouse system would feel like they are still in the forest. Okay, that's what it makes the snails feel. They are in an enclosed environment, they are in a controlled environment, but yet they will feel so free as if they are in the forest. All right, that's one of the reasons why we use greenhouse system, especially for large scale farming. All right, now for greenhouse system, you install what we call feeding racks. Okay, now the next on our list is you buy your snails. You see, the reason why when people come to buy snails from me, the first thing I ask is, have you gotten trained? Because after getting trained, there's a whole lot of things to do before you buy your snails. Are you seeing the number to which buying of snail belongs? Number 10 on my list. So imagine you have not done any of the others, number 1 down to number 9. You have not done any. You just want to buy snails. There's a whole lot of things to do before you buy snails and start. And then number 11, you purchase formulated feeds and calcium. Now, in as much as snails are vegetarians, they still need their own formulated feeds. You learn all about that in the mentorship program. All right, okay, let's move on. Now, getting into my mentorship program, you get into what I call my community of MegTest millionaire farmers. Now, like I told you, only this year alone, I've trained over 380 persons. All right, so in this mentorship program, you get to join my community members who have gone through my trainings or my training programs, and they continue to enjoy my support and mentorship and assistance as they begin their own journey into the snail farming. Okay, and not just that, we help each other to sell. Now, remember when I told you about supplying pharmaceutical companies abroad, that one person cannot fulfill such orders? Now, that is where the community comes into play. You can team up and do group supplies. You can team up with me and do group supplies. Okay, that's some of the benefits of being in my community. And you can only get into this community by joining my mentorship program. All right, now you can also become a part of this community, like I said, by joining this mentorship program and become a MegTest millionaire farmer as well. Now, let me talk a little about my community. In this community, you get to enjoy my lifetime support. Like I've already told you, it's a lifetime thing. Like, I don't just train you and let you go. I train you and I stay with you. All right. Now, being in my community attracts a discount on the purchase of snails. Like if you want to just buy snails from me, there's a different price. But if you're in my community, there's also a different price, both for the feeds, the formulated calcium, the snails, and everything, and even for those who I help to set up their farms. But the way I train you, you can start up your own farm by yourself. You can set it up by yourself. The only one that I would advise people not to start by themselves is the greenhouse system, because that one is a bit technical, so you get professionals to go into it. And definitely you have the money to do that, because for you to do that large scale, definitely you have the money. All right, but for uh intensive system, you don't need the help of anybody. With my training, you can do it yourself. In fact, if you can hold hammer and nail, you can do it yourself. All right, now in my community, I refer my mentees to buyers of their snails, okay, and their products, because it's not just snails that you're learning to rear. You're also learning how you can formulate your own calcium, how you can formulate your own feeds. I give you all the proportions, all the measurements that you need to formulate your own feeds in my training. All right, now in our community, you can team up with group members to do large scale exports, like I explained to you before. You can also get connected with other snail farmers. Let's take, for instance, you are in Uyo. Now another member of the community is in Zaria. Somebody now contacts that person, maybe by virtue of social media. Somebody contacts that your community member in Zaria, that he or she wants to buy snails. Now some persons can just, that person can just connect you that is in Uyo to that person, because the buyer is also in Uyo. Okay, instead of going through the stress, oh yeah, buy from this person that is in Uyo. Or you want to buy snails from me, but the number of snails you need, I don't have up to that. I connect you with another person that can supply all of them. All right, so those are some of the benefits of being in my community. Now, who are the kind of people that can join my community? If you're a student, you can join my community. You're a stay-at-home mom or dad, you can join my community. If you're a retiree, perfect, you can join my community. Or you're a businessman or woman, like I told you before, whatever you're doing, you can inculcate snail farming into it, okay, into that existing business or job that you're doing. Now, or you are just somebody who is looking for a sustainable income, or you're just looking to increase your income, snail farming is for you, and this community is what you need. Joining my community is the exact thing you need to succeed as a snail farmer. Now let's talk a little about some testimonies that some of my previous mentees have to say. This one says, Madam Mary is the best lecturer I have ever met. If all lecturers are like her when it comes to teaching, I think 90% of students will not involve themselves in exam malpractice. You know why? I teach you as though you have not done anything before. Do you understand? I know some of you have a little knowledge about snail farming already, but that's notwithstanding. I pour out the whole of my heart to you, so that you would know that at the end of the day, you don't have the need to go back and start learning from another person again. Not at all. You don't have that need again. All right, after going through my mentorship program, you don't have the need to go through any other program again. After all, I will still be there for you every step of the way. Whatever questions that might come up, I am here to answer. All right, now this one says, good morning, I am one of your students from Edo State, Benin City. I can say that one of the good things that happened to me this year is by coming in contact with you. I have come across teachers, but you are different. You are too much. The way you explained everything to us, even a layman can understand it. You poured out every of your knowledge about snail farming to us without reserving any, not minding the little amount we paid. People like you is what we need in our schools, organizations, etc. in this Nigeria. You are the best. I give you 95%. God bless you and your household. Thank you, ma. Now, I don't just do it because people will give me accolades or people will praise me. No, I want a situation where after I train you, you will know so much that you can stand on your feet. Do you understand? That's the joy of every teacher. That's the joy of every mentor. Like, I mentor you, you go through my training, you should be able to stand on your own. All right? There are some persons who come to me and tell me, I paid so amount. I paid just so amount to learn last year, and now, okay, I now ask you, how many species of snails do you have in your pen, or what size of snails are you rearing? I don't know that one, no. So what did they now train you now? If you don't even know the name of the species of snail you're rearing, what did they now train you? And you say you went through a training. You can imagine what people go through. All right, now for the for time or the lack of it, I might not be able to read everything, but all these are testimonials from my students, from some of them who bought snails from me, and some who just went through my trainings. Okay, I'm going to take this from one of my students, Engineer Olabisi. Now, Engineer Olabisi says, "Good afternoon, everyone. I want to appreciate Coach Mary for our relentless efforts towards us to achieve our goals in snail farming. Yes, Coach Mary is a good lecturer, is an understatement. She is an excellent teacher. She explained everything about the snail farming to us, and I give her kudos. Secondly, she is honest and trustworthy. When I booked for my snails and I transferred 69,000 naira to her from Ibadan here without knowing each other, and she delivered, even when there was a delay due to the heavy rain as at that time. She made sure at all costs I received my snails. Thirdly, the issue of mentoring. She is excellent. Anytime I call her or chat her to ask questions, she's always responding. So to me, I give her excellent in all aspects. Why will I train you? You would have an issue, you would ask questions, and I will not answer. That's no longer mentorship now. Do you understand? My mentorship is not just for a year, it's not just for a month, it is for lifetime. All right? So that's some of the testimonies from some of my previous mentees. Now, what do you need to join this training? What do you need? Now, one of the things is that you need to be patient. You need to be patient. To succeed as a snail farmer, I've emphasized on it a lot. You need to be patient to both learn and to implement what you have learned. All right, now it is not a get rich quick scheme. It is not a Ponzi scheme where you pay 50,000 and get 100,000 overnight. No, this is a business. All right, this is pure business that will last you for a lifetime. Now, another thing you need is readiness to implement everything you are taught. You don't just learn and go and sleep. For you to succeed in anything after learning, you implement what you have learned. All right, so those are the things you need to join my training. Now, what are the things you'll be learning? Let me start breaking them down now. There's a lot you will learn, believe me. A lot you will learn, believe me. Now, number one on my list is, how can you start snail farming on a budget? That's one of the things you will learn. You are the type that maybe you don't have much capital, you want to start small. How would you start small? That's one of the things you will learn. Now, you will learn how to extract snail slime. You know that slurry substance? Yes, you will learn how to extract it. Like I said, even without killing the snails. All right. Now, all my trainings are in videos. Okay. There are video trainings for every aspect of the training. So there's nothing like show us video. Apart from the video trainings as well, I also have practical videos that I will show you. So it's not just theory. No, it's both theory, practical, and live sessions. All right. Now you will learn about the recommended drinks and feeds that you need to give your snails. You will learn how to feed your snails properly and the type of food that you should give them so that they will grow fast. Not just grow fast, they will start laying eggs for you, and they will lay more eggs than even the recommended one. Okay, and their shells will grow strong. What type of food would you give them? You will learn all about that. Right now, how to start a snail farm at home or on a farm site. Maybe you have a land that you would like to start your snail farm. How would you start it? Those are some of the things you'll be learning as well. Another thing, breeding of snail eggs. Some people know how to take care of their snails, but when the snails lay eggs, they don't know how to take care of those eggs for them to hatch and give them more snails. Now, if you don't know that one, that means your snail farm will not grow. Because the only way your snail farm will grow is when your snails are giving birth to more snails and those snails are surviving. All right. Now, how to hatch and incubate your eggs without any equipment. You don't need any equipment with the method that I will show you. Now, different ways to properly sterilize your soil. There are different ways, and I will tell you the best way that I know, like my most preferred way to sterilize your soil and your mulching materials. How to take care of your baby snails. Baby snails are quite delicate, so you need to know how you can take care of them so that they can survive well. All right. Now, where and how to obtain the right species of snails. You don't just go to the market and buy snails. You don't just buy snail from anywhere if you want to start snail farm. So where do you buy your snails? What type of snail do you buy? You will learn all of that in the training, in this mentorship program. How to identify common snail healths and how to treat them. Up until this moment, nobody knows any sickness that affects snails. Like the way we have for humans, this is malaria, this is typhoid. There is no known sickness, but we know when snails are not feeling okay. So I will teach you how you can treat your snails, because you will know when they are not feeling okay. Because I will tell you how to identify when your snails are not feeling okay. All right, so you learn how to treat them properly. Now you will learn how to identify the benefits of snail slime, and not just that, how to remove and extract those snail slime, not just for your house, but for commercial purpose. Okay, now how to use condemned oil and water to ward off predators. There are a lot of snail animals, so the way we build the snail houses, which we call the pens, you will learn how you can use condemned oil, condemned engine oil, and water, so that you prevent any snake enemy or predators, as we call them, from coming close to your snail pen. All right, now next on our list is how to identify common snail health. We've talked about this before. Different types of snail houses and a detailed training on how to construct them. What are the different types of snail houses we have, and how can you construct them? You will get detailed training. Like, when I mean detailed training, you don't need anybody to be there with you. You will be the one giving the carpenter the specifications and how to do it after going through my training. You don't need me to be there for you to construct the snail house. All right, now where to obtain the right species. We've talked about that as well. That is not all. There is still more. I have some juicy bonuses for you if you join my mentorship program. Number one on my list is my step-by-step free ebook. Now, I sell this book for up to 9,000, 9,593, but I will be giving you for free. All right, I will give you this book for free when you join my mentorship program. You will have access to my community. You remember that community I told you about, where you have all the juicy packages, where you have all the benefits of doing group exports with me and both other mentees. You would have access to that community. All right, now you also get a free business plan. When you join this my training, you will get a free business plan, so that you will not be lost as to where to start from. There's one thing to get trained, there's one thing to have the mind to start up, but you might still be confused as to how much you will put in. That is why I train you not just on how to start on a budget, but I give you a business plan that will guide you properly. Let's assume you have 50,000 naira, or let's say you have 100,000 naira that you want to go into this business with. My business plan will help you know what amount to apportion for buying of snails, what amount to apportion for constructing your snail house, what amount to portion for buying of snail feeds, and all of that. That's what that business plan does for you. All right, now you will also learn other ways to make money consistently from snail business. Like I told you before, it's not just about snail farming. You can make money from snail business, not just from the farming as well. All right, now opportunity for you to do group export so that you can earn in dollars. You all know the current exchange rate of dollar to naira. As at the time of this recording, $1 in the black market is 950 naira. Imagine you selling your snails in foreign currency and earning in foreign currency. One jumbo size snail in the international market right now is $3. Some sell it even as high as $4. So imagine, calculate 950 naira times 3 for one big snail. That's what people are selling. But here in Nigeria, we sell it for 1,800 for a jumbo size snail. All right, some are selling it 1,300, some are selling it 1,500, some sell it even 1,800. Okay, so those are some of the benefits. Those are some of the bonuses that you will get. Now, this training will be for 10 whole days, 10 good days. All right, it will be hosted on YouTube, and you have a question and answer session in a group on WhatsApp. Okay, you also join my Telegram group. All right, now this training can be accessed from any part of the world, anywhere you are. So long as you have a device that is internet enabled, you can join this training. Okay, and the training is in 3 stages. The first phase is the learning slash training stage. Okay, now after that first phase, we will enter into the practical session where we will learn DIY steps on how you can get your pens ready and commence actual farming. DIY means do it yourself. All right, that's the second phase. Then the third phase is the live sessions that we're going to have, where you will get your business plan, where you will learn how to do the farming on a budget, and then you get to ask very specific questions. I will attend to each mentee, not not uh, not as a group, but I will attend to you individually. All right, now it's going to include live sessions, like I said, personal sessions with each mentee, my video training, an ebook, and a follow-up group for farmers, which means after the training you're not just left behind. Okay, you'll be added to my communities both on WhatsApp and Telegram, where you get to meet like minds and share ideas and learn. Those groups are well over 800 persons. Some of them might even be in your locality. Now, this training is well over 50,000 naira. But guess what? You're not paying 50,000 naira today. Even if I charge you 30,000 naira for this training, trust me, it's still a very good price. But you won't be paying 50,000, neither will you be paying 30,000 naira today. But for the first 25 persons that will key into this training, I'm giving you an opportunity to pay just 9,999 naira. Now, after the first 25 persons, price goes back to 20,000 naira because the discount is only for a short period. Okay, so if you're interested in accessing the mentorship program that guarantees you all the knowledge you require to succeed as a snail farmer on a budget, and not just that, also gives you a mentor that would be with you every step of the way, then you go ahead and make your payment into the following account details. It's already on the screen, but I'm just going to call it out. It's a First Bank account, and the account number is 3044300051. The account name is IGBANIBO Magdalene Kuroazigha. That's my name. Don't laugh at my name. I know it's long, but so I'm just going to call the account details again. It's a First Bank account, and the account number is 3044300051. The account name is IGBANIBO Magdalene Kuroazigha. The amount is 9,999 naira. After you make your payment, you send your proof of payment to the group. For those of you that are in the group, send your proof of payment to the group. And then for those who are not in the group, you send your proof of payment to our official number 080-255-39238. The official number again is 080-255-39238. And the moment your payment is confirmed, you will be added to the 10 days intensive training. Then for my students who are in Ghana, don't worry, we'll post the payment details in the group for the Ghanaians and all other African countries as well. Okay, but for my Ghanaians that are in the group, the account you're going to make your payment into will be posted in the group. Okay, and the amount that you're supposed to pay in cedis, it will be posted in the group as well. Okay, so but if in case you're a Ghanaian and you're not in the group, you just send a message to this official number and we'll send you the Ghana payment details so that you can partake in it. All right, so I love you all and see you all in the mentorship program.